This is the strongest man in the world. He's super strong. He can lift rocks that weigh over 400 pounds like they're feathers, and he can even walk around with a tree trunk on his back that weighs over 1,300 pounds. The other day, he broke several records easily after lifting over 1,100 pounds. But that's nothing compared to that day when he removes a 20-ton plane. That challenge was part of a competition to find out who was the strongest man in the world. Using only brute strength, this guy managed to pull the airplane for over 80 feet and completely outclassed his opponents. Thor is so strong that he makes weightlifting look easy, but it's all possible because he's a giant. As shocking as it may sound, this guy is over 6 feet 6 inches tall and has weighed over 440 pounds of pure muscle. It's no wonder he's the strongest man in the world. He's simply a monster. He's so big that he makes people around him look like kids, just like that day when he recorded a video with his wife and everyone was shocked by the height difference. And it doesn't stop there. On another day, he compared the size of his foot with his wife's and revealed that his shoe is so big that another one could fit inside. His hand is also impressive, almost 3 times larger than a normal person's. But what did he do to become so strong? Believe it or not, before being known as the strongest man in the world, Thor was like this. He didn't have half the muscles he has today and was just like an average person. But a tragedy changed his life forever. When he was a child, both his father and mother were athletes and were over 6 feet 6 inches tall. That's why Thor was much bigger than the boys his age. Besides, he spent a good part of his childhood working on the farm with his grandfather, which helped him develop his muscles. But it was in his teenage years that he discovered the sport that would change his life: basketball. With his height and strength, he quickly became a star on the courts of Iceland and dreamed of making it to the NBA. Life in sports wasn't easy for him. He faced several serious injuries, and after undergoing surgeries, he was forced to give up basketball. Those were the toughest days in Thor's life. But instead of giving up, he found a new path and started participating in strength competitions in Iceland. In 2008, Thor met Magnus Ver Magnusson, who saw Thor's potential and began training him for strength competitions. With the help of his mentor, that guy started standing out in Iceland's competitions, and in 2010, he won the title of the strongest man in his country. But for him, that wasn't enough. Thor wanted to showcase his strength to the world. He started competing in the WSM, an international strength competition, and in his first year, he already made it among the top competitors. And finally, in 2018, Thor managed to win the competition and was crowned the strongest man in the world. This award made him extremely famous, and that's why he was even called to act in the series Game of Thrones. But without a doubt, his biggest accomplishment was carrying a tree weighing 14 pounds on his back and breaking a record that had stood for over 10 centuries. In Iceland, there's a legend about a Viking warrior named Ormur who managed to take 3 steps carrying a tree on his back. And on that day, Thor wanted to prove that this was really possible. He broke Ormur's record in front of millions of people, becoming known as the strongest Viking of all. Thor's story is an example of resilience and determination. Despite facing challenges like basketball injuries, he found a new passion in strength competitions. His journey teaches us that with hard work and perseverance, we can overcome obstacles and achieve our goals.